Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV for another episode of Good Morning Tottenham. Obviously, the internationals have been going in their numbers over the last couple of days, and as every single international game goes, another Tottenham player goes missing. We'll get into the injury news in a bit, but let's start off with a bit of an international update, international watch. Let's start off with South Korea playing Lebanon. South Korea won 1-0, and obviously Heung-min Son didn't play because of that injury news that we did bring to you yesterday. Lithuania under-21s lost to Spain under-21s with Brian Hill captaining the side and grabbing an assist, even though he didn't get to complete. He didn't get to complete 90 minutes. He went off with around 10 minutes, 15 minutes to go. But apparently he did play very well and grabbing an assist very early on. England under-21s winning 2-0 against Kosovo. Ollie Skip going off injured after 83 minutes, holding his groin as walking off the pitch. Netherlands winning 6-1 against Turkey. Steven Bergwijn going off injured after 61 minutes. It's literally non-stop with these injuries. Ireland drawing 1-1 with Serbia. Matt Doherty playing 90 minutes. Did not go off injured.
Great. The only player we could have done with an injury, probably.
Troy Parrott was an unused sub in that game. Højbjerg played 83 minutes, didn't go off injured, just was rested towards the end, winning 5-0 against Israel in a match, in an actually really big game there in that group. France winning 2-0 against Finland, back to winning ways. Captain Hugo Lloris playing 90 minutes. And tonight you've got the last of the internationals. It's Ben Davies and Joe Rodon going up against Maxim Pastoksy in Estonia against Wales in Wales. Golini, who I obviously don't expect to play, well, maybe against Lithuania, but probably not. But they're playing, like I said, Lithuania at home in the World Cup qualifier. And last but not least, England are away to Poland, which is probably England's biggest game in the group. I think if they do win tonight, they're pretty much qualified.
Yeah, they're going to qualify, and even if they don't win tonight.
They've won 100% of their games.
Yeah,
so
they're going to qualify. But it's the battle of the number 9s, isn't it? Lewandowski versus Kane. That's the story of the day. Yeah. And I think Lewandowski is kind of what Kane wants to be in terms of his in terms of still at 33 on top of his game, scoring 40, 50 goals, and that's what Kane should aspire to do.
Yeah, definitely. But I still think, like, when you compare the two players, I think obviously Lewandowski's a better goal scorer and a better finisher potentially. But I think Kane has a lot more to his game than Lewandowski. Yeah,
but to be scoring 40, 50 goals, at 33, 34, might even be now, Lewandowski. Like, that's seriously impressive. That's, he's 6 years older than Kane. Yeah. That's mad, and he's still banging them in, and that's what Kane has. That's what Kane has to aim for, and I think he's definitely got the capabilities. The player he is, the skills he relies on, he can definitely do that.
Yeah, and I think that when he was talking in that interview with Gary Neville, saying he's got a whole career left in him. He's looking at players like Lewandowski, like you said, to emulate them, and if he can kind of keep up that goal-scoring record that Lewandowski's had for all that career, he'll smash the Premier League record. He'll absolutely smash it.
And he's now 40 goals on for England in I think it's 63 caps, which is 20 less caps than Michael Owen got 40 goals in.
Mad.
Which everyone thinks of Michael Owen as one of England's best ever strikers, and Kane's completely blown him out of the water. And he's only 13 goals away from Wayne Rooney being England's highest ever goal scorer, so there's no doubt in my mind he will easily beat that record.
I mean, what record will he not beat? He's going to beat the international record. He's probably going to beat the Premier League record.
94 goals away from that.
I think he probably needs one more season at Tottenham further this to beat Jimmy Greaves' record.
I think he probably needs more than that.
Do you reckon? He's like 40 goals behind.
Is he 40?
Is it 40? I thought it... No.
Oh, wait.
I think it might be 40 goals behind.
Has he hit 200 for Tottenham? Yeah, he has hit 200. Greaves is 266, right?
Yeah.
Well, how many has he got for Tottenham, Harry Kane, in total? Let me see. I remember he scored his 200th. He did, didn't he? He is 223. Yeah, so he's not far away.
That's what I'm saying.
You're probably right. He could even do it this... Well, no, he won't do it this year.
It's a stretch to do it this year, but I think he probably needs next season to break Jimmy Greaves' record.
He could get close this year.
Yeah.
He could get close. Yeah, so Tottenham, yeah.
So, he's up for all the accolades. So maybe if he stays at Tottenham for one more year, gets Jimmy Gibbs' record, then he leaves Daniel Levy and Tottenham in a really difficult position with 1 year left and him not signing that deal. So do you reckon he does that?
Maybe. I don't know. It's difficult.
Because when you're so close to that record, it'll be hard for him to leave.
It's true. He'll surely want to break that record if he's that close to it. Clearly he wasn't that bothered about it this summer, but I think... if he stays another year, if he gets another 30 goals this season. Well, if he gets 30 goals, he's only 10 away. Yeah. He could break it this year if he gets 40. If he has a mad season.
40 in the Premier League?
God, not in the Premier League. He surpassed our Premier League record.
Oh, sorry. Jimmy Greaves never played in the Premier League.
Yeah. It's all together. Jimmy Greaves was 266. He's on 223. And in the Conference League, he could really rock up.
You want Kane to play in the Conference League?
Yeah, I want Kane in the Conference League now. Can play him every game. It'll be interesting. So he's obviously playing against Poland tonight, and I remember John. We were talking to John in one of our hot spars ages ago, and he was like, he didn't think Kane was going to break Rooney's record when he was like 20 goals away or something. I was like, you mad? Kane is going to smash that record. He's going to obliterate it. It's obvious.
You know how John likes to bring all that stuff up in previous hot spars, how he's beat you in the hot spar, then maybe you can do that to him.
I have to get that back.
You've got some pointers for the hot spar.
Definitely.
Hot spar.
He just remembers every time he was right. That's all.
He doesn't remember any time he's wrong.
Definitely not. Definitely not. He conveniently forgets that.
Yeah.
I was watching the Holland game last night.
Yeah.
And I was obviously Bergwijn, unfortunately, despite Holland scoring 6, I don't think he scored a goal or got an assist, I believe. But he actually did play. He did play well.
Scored like 4 goals last night, didn't he?
Yeah. Was it 4? Was it 4?
4. Yeah.
Yeah. He was on fire. I don't know if you saw his the first goal he scored.
I didn't see any of the goals,
word,
no.
Unbelievable. Him and Klassen were linking up unbelievably, and he scored his class order. Anyway, Bergwijn, though, despite the fact he didn't get a goal or assist, he did play quite well. He was, I know I believe it was the 4th goal Memphis scored. He did a really good ball to the back post, which was headed across the face by Berghuis, and he tapped in. It was a very good cross, and he was very much heavily involved in the attacking play, as much as he didn't get on the score sheet or an assist.
Very similar to his Spurs.
Yeah, that's the thing though. It kind of left you wanting more with Bergwijn. Like, he didn't play badly. It's just like when you got all the other players like scoring goals for fun and getting assists and being involved, and he was a bit on the periphery. It was a bit of a shame for him. Then obviously he's gone off injured after the hour, and Donny Milan came on, I think, got a goal as well. Did, yeah. So that probably was a bit annoying for him. So he's probably going to want more from himself. But again, it's frustrating because he didn't play badly, but you just want more from him, don't you?
But last week he got skill of the day, mate.
He got skill of the day. That's the most important thing. That's the most important thing. And Højbjerg, obviously, they dominated Israel hard.
Yeah, they did. I mean, it was a massive game for Israel, because if they would have won, they really put themselves in the... they're in the conversation, but seriously put themselves in the conversation to make this World Cup in Qatar. So...
Luckily for them, Austria were playing Scotland on the same day, so they didn't lose too much ground. Really.
No, but Scotland went above them.
Only by a point. So.
But it's Israel-Scotland next game, so...
it's a big game.
We'll see what happens there. But look, it looks as though Denmark are home and hosed in that group, though.
Oh, easy. They've won every game. They're really carrying on their form from the Euros, aren't they? They seem buoyed by that. And I tell you who was unbelievable. I don't know if you watch it. It was not Odegaard, sorry. What's his name? Damsgaard. He was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant throughout that whole game. They couldn't get near him. Any sort of space they gave him, he was completely unlocking them, and he was a joy to behold yesterday.
What about signing someone like Eran Zahavi as our
I like Zahavi. Striker? Remember we were linked with him?
Yeah.
When was it? Was it, I think it was deadline day in that January when we were, I think it was that one?
It was when we were going for it was last season, wasn't it? Last January.
Was it last January? Well, someone there. It came out after the window closed that we made a deadline bid for Zahavi.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's smashing out in Holland with PSV. He's smashed out in China. I'm not talking about the Israeli league. But
obviously, he smashed out there. But no, the most impressive thing is how he's doing on international duty.
Yeah.
That's the most impressive thing, because he keeps banging in the goals. Yeah. Every single game, he's banging in the goals. Look at
the
Euros.
This stat.
I think he was last qualifying for the Euros qualifying. He was top goal scorer in the whole qualifying.
He's second in the whole thing now.
Yeah. So he's it's seriously impressive.
Eran Zahavi, right?
Seriously impressive.
In the look at these stats in Israel, right? In the Israeli league, he scored 29 goals in 19 games.
It's too easy for
29
him.
goals in 19 games.
It was too easy for him. It was too easy for him.
And like in China, he absolutely smashed it out. In Holland, he's absolutely doing great as well. So, I mean, as a backup striker, you could do much worse, couldn't you?
Definitely. I would take him. The only thing is he's 34, but he's still...
This is a backup. This is like...
we could do a lot worse.
This is like a Lorente kind of deal, you know?
We could do a lot worse than him. And he's clearly still got pace about him. I don't know if you saw, there was a few moments last night, he was running away from defenders and stuff. But I like, you can see there's so much quality there with Zahavi, so I wouldn't mind him as a backup striker, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, not much to say. Papa Sarr was on the bench yesterday for Senegal.
Yeah. No, he started.
Says he was on the bench.
No, I'm pretty sure he started.
It says Sarr was on the bench for Senegal as they won 3-1 against Congo. That's on the official website. Maybe they got it wrong.
Senegal. No, he started. Apparently he started on the wing. Oh, no, it was the previous game he started. Sorry, it was the previous game he started.
Yeah, so this one he said he was on the bench.
Did he come on?
Doesn't say he came on. Just said he was on the bench.
Apparently in the previous game, they had two Sars on each wing. Ismaila Sarr and Papa Sarr on each wing.
You know what? Senegal have got a good team, man.
Yeah.
Seriously good team. Like, really underrated.
Coast,
huh?
I've seen the Ivory Coast team. They're doing really well at the moment.
How is it? What you think is better than the Senegal team? Senegal got Mane, got Ismaila Sarr, Papa Sarr. Who else they got? They got a seriously good team. Senegal.
Yeah, but what about Ivory Coast? Ivory Coast got Sebastian Haller, Kouassi, Seri, Leon Bailly, Aurier. Well, maybe it's not as good as.
No, look, Sadio Mane, Edouard Mendy, Koulibaly.
Well, Edouard Mendy, the Chelsea keeper.
Yeah, Edouard Mendy, Koulibaly from Napoli, Ismaila Sarr, Idrissa Gueye.
That is a serious team.
Mbaye Niang, I thought you remember him. Then obviously Papa Sarr as well. Cheikh Kouyaté from what's his name, from Palace. Keita Balde, remember him?
Maybe they're gonna do like they're gonna come back. Remember them in that World Cup where they set that World Cup alight with
that was in 2002
Diouf and all them.
Yeah. They got a seriously good team. Senegal, seriously good team. They could be a dark horse going into the next World Cup. Interestingly enough.
All right. Well, that is your international watch. Now let's get on to the Tottenham injuries and who is going to miss out this weekend against Crystal Palace. So let's start off.
Who's going to play?
Exactly. Who's going to bloody play?
That'll be a short list.
It's this kind of stuff in South America could not have happened at a worse time. So obviously Sanchez, Lo Celso, and Romero are all quarantining in Croatia. They're going to be back for the Chelsea game, but they're out this weekend for the Palace game. And it literally could not have come at a worse time, could it, Sim?
No, it couldn't, because the injuries are completely mounting up at the moment in the camp, and it's kind of worrying what kind of side they're going to put out. Because if it's not confirmed yet that everyone who's gone off injured is going to be out for the weekend, because there could be little niggling injuries or whatever. But if we assume the worst and they're all out for the weekend, or could even be further than that, then we are struggling in terms of what kind of team we're going to put out who Nuno can trust, because he's going to have to put some players in who haven't earned their place yet, and he hasn't fully trusted before today.
Yeah.
And he's going there. And look, I guess you can see it as a good opportunity for those players to kind of stake a claim for the first team. But it's one of those things where it's a big struggle for Nuno.
Yeah, it really is. Let's start off with Ryan Sessegnon, because he got sent home from England under-21 duty through injury. And the thing is with Sessegnon, it's just we can't consistently keep him fit.
Nope.
He's got big injury problems, Ryan Sessegnon, and he needs to get over them. He really does, and maybe that's what contributes to his confidence issue.
Yeah, because I remember that's what Bale was saying, that sometimes when you're always getting consistently injured, it can affect your ability to be sharp and be like explosive, because sometimes you don't want to go for that extra bit of that extra run or go the extra mile, because you're worried that if you push yourself a bit too much, you're going to break down and get injured again. And obviously Sessegnon isn't like Bale in terms of age and how far he's gone in his career, but when he's had for the past 3 years now, pretty much consistent injuries, maybe that plays on your mind, and
sure
especially the muscular injuries, that can probably be that can be a worry for him. And yeah, he needs to go over it. Obviously, it's not his fault, but it's something that he needs to think about, because I remember, to be honest, Bale wasn't under Redknapp. It wasn't Bale also before he became that amazing player when he first broke into the team for the second time. Like, he was this player who was getting consistently injured, like quite injury prone. Yeah. And I remember Harry Redknapp used to tell the players, and then what used to happen in training is he used to like go down all the time and like always be and always ask for treatment and stuff. And I remember Redknapp very clearly said there came to a point where I said enough is enough, and the next time he went down in training, he told the physios, don't go and treat him, just leave him alone. And apparently, I don't know if that's the right thing to do, because probably if someone's injured, you should go and treat them. Whatever.
That's such an old school style.
I know, it's very like toughen up, buddy. Bring it. What's it called? Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, that kind of thing. But I'm just saying.
Imagine if Mourinho did that.
Exactly. Everyone be calling him toxic and everything. I'm just saying that's what Redknapp did, and Redknapp says that toughened him up a lot and gave him a strength, because I remember, when Bale came back into the team that second time, he was not just quality-wise, like physically, people were bouncing off him. Yeah, he was complete. Like physically, he was just a different player. He was so much stronger. He was like a rugby player all of a sudden. Before, he was kind of like a winger who had a little bit of pace.
Suddenly,
but
his
weak.
Shoulders were so broad.
Exactly, and he was brushing people off, and he was doing all that kind of stuff. Sessegnon needs to add that element to his game, because at the moment, he's quick, he's got quality, but I feel like he just isn't that strong. Yeah. And maybe though that's what's contributing to him either getting injured or feeling like he's injured all the time. I don't know what's going on, and there's, interestingly enough, as we're talking about Sessegnon, there's a report at the moment there's reports in Turkey, because the Turkish window is still open for the next month. It says Ryan Sessegnon has been offered to Fenerbahce. According to apparently manager Vitor Pereira is positive about the player, and talks have begun in the last few hours. So that's reports in Turkey claiming that Sessegnon could be heading there on loan. Or it doesn't say on loan, actually. It just says it's been offered, but I'm assuming it's a loan deal.
Yeah.
That would be interesting if there's any truth to that.
Do you think it would be a good move for him?
Someone says their window closes today, so maybe that's something that could develop over the day.
Do you think that's a good move for him? Because I remember you were quite positive about Tanganga going there on loan.
Yeah, I was, but then obviously he showed. Then obviously I'm happy for him to stay because of the quality he showed against City, and he was so good. The thing with Sessegnon, would it be a good move for him? I wanted him to stay, to be honest, because I want him to really start developing for Tottenham. But if they're not convinced about giving him game time and stuff, then I guess it could be a good move for him. But then again, he was on loan at Hoffenheim last year. Was it Hoffenheim? Yeah, Hoffenheim last year. So that's a step down from that. That's the worry there. And he did quite well there. So
although
I don't know.
He could get what? Could he get Champions League football at Fenerbahce?
I'm not sure. Not sure if they're in the Champions League. Probably. So I guess that'll be good. Look, I guess if it's a case where Nuno doesn't think he's going to get much game time, and he would rather him play, then it could be a good move for him. Yeah, sure, it could be a good move for him. Tanganga was a bit different. I feel like the reason I thought it was good for Tanganga is because...
Spider there, Sim.
Where? What are you talking about?
On your mic.
Oh, shit. Did it flick into my coffee? Why did I do that? No, it didn't. The reason I thought it was good for Tanganga is because he hasn't had so much football. So he's had a few games with Tottenham here and there, but he hasn't been consistently playing a high-level football. So for him to get a season under his belt where he's number one choice and he's whatever, I thought even if it's in Turkey, I think that'll be good for him. However, for Sessegnon, he's played top level football now for a number of years. Ever since he was 16, he was regular in the Fulham for the Championship, regular for Fulham in the Premier League, regular for Hoffenheim in the Bundesliga. So he's kind of had that top level experience. I'm not sure a season in Turkey helps a player like him in the same way I would help Tanganga in that sense. That's the difference, I would say. But it'll be interesting to see if there's any developments on that.
Yeah, look, we'll see, and we'll obviously keep you updated as these rumours develop. But let's move on. Let's talk about Ollie Skip, because he went off with just under 10 minutes to go yesterday for the England under-21s, holding his groin. Clearly he has a groin injury, and Lee Carsley, the under-21 manager, was talking about him as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, let me get those quotes up from Lee Carsley. He basically said, where is it? I can't see it now. He basically said that he went off feeling stiffness in his groin, and they're going to assess him tomorrow. There you go. Yeah, go on then. It
says, I saw him on the treatment table with ice on his groin. He said there was a bit of stiffness there. We should know more tomorrow, but Ollie's a robust player. I mean, it doesn't sound like it's anything serious.
It doesn't sound, it sounds precautionary, a bit like the Son one, because, just stiffness in your groin. I'm glad, that he felt that and decided to go off, because that's something that could lead to an injury if you let it exacerbate. But it's all about if he's still feeling stiffness come the weekend, he's obviously not going to be able to play. So,
do you think if he is injured this weekend, we go for Winks, or does Ndombele come back in?
Well, you'd have to. Well, Winks is ahead of him, I guess. You'd have to say I would want Ndombele in, but I think at the moment Nuno might see this as an opportunity to give Winks a run. I'm guessing.
Can we recall Papa Sarr?
Maybe I'd like that, but. I think he goes for Winks just based on history of his selections. Winks played in the Conference League, and he obviously his last good start I know was against Passos, but he played quite well. So I'm guessing Nuno will probably pick him, and also he probably sees Winks as a more similar player to Skip as opposed to Ndombele, who's maybe in rotation with Dele.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah. So I'm assuming. Winks comes in for this one, and it's an opportunity for him to show why he was so highly thought of previously, show why he's an England international, and start recapturing the form he used to have, because he's been off form for about over a year now, and he needs to take these opportunities if he's going to stake a claim for the first team. And not nice for it to open up because of a Skip injury after a great start to the season for him. But hopefully he sees this as a window if Skip is out for the weekend.
Yeah. And last but not least, Steven Bergwijn going off injured for the Netherlands in a 6-1 win last night. He went off with around half an hour to go. I believe, like as you mentioned before, he did play well in the game, and he was sitting on the sidelines with ice pack around his ankle, which didn't look great. He didn't look happy about it, and it's a big loss if he's out.
Yeah, again, we won't know until how bad it is. If he feels sweaty, maybe he probably has some swelling in his ankle if he was holding a pack of ice there. So it doesn't look great. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. Sometimes you see players holding their having ice packs and stuff, and there's nothing too serious about it. It's just trying to it's like a precaution kind of thing, but we'll have to wait and see. Again, he's had a good start to the season. He's also playing well, played well yesterday, so it'll be a stop in his tracks. But could be an opportunity for Brian Hill. Son is also injured as well, I'm arguing, which is quite which we'll have to wait and see. But if Son is also injured, then it's hopefully an opportunity for Brian Hill to come in and it's also stake claim for the first team on the left-hand side. I'll be excited to see what he can do, given a start against Crystal Palace. It'll be interesting to see what kind of performance he puts in, if he's kind of anonymous in the game or if he's really involved and he actually makes an impact. It'll be interesting to see with Hill.
It's so annoying though, just with these kind of our momentum with three wins in a row, and now this team's being broken up a bit, isn't it, with all these injuries? So it is a bit annoying.
But you need a squad, don't you? You need a squad.
That's the thing. Our squad is thin. It's very thin. And Hill can come in and do a job, but we don't know how he's going to take to the Premier League straight away. And we're relying on him heavily if Son and Bergwijn are out injured, heavily.
Well, it depends how long they're injured for.
Yeah, but let's say they're both out for the Chelsea game.
Then
next
it's going to be
games, it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, it will be very difficult, but let's hope we can that he can step up and deal with it. It's going to be hard. It's a lot of pressure on him, and also, if he doesn't have the best of games, you're going to have saying, "Oh, he's not ready. He's, who's his player? He's average." All this kind of stuff at a very young age. A lot of pressure, but hopefully he can deal with that. He seems to be a player who likes a bit of pressure. He's captain for the under-21s, so he likes to take a bit of a leadership role, which is positive. So Hopefully he can make an impact. I'm intrigued to see how he performs, but I'm not going to expect too much from him just yet in these kind of games. That's all I would say.
We've got a super chat here from Bob Spur TV. Find him on the watch along Saturday morning, 12:30 kickoff. And he says, legends, there's a big difference between being worried about the lack of depth within the squad and being negative. Depth is in some areas worries me. Yeah, and I completely agree with that. I mean, it is worrying with our lack of depth in some areas of the pitch.
Yeah, it's true. We don't have great depth.
And I'm worried about that. I'm worried about that centre mid position if Skip is injured for the this next game or the game after, because it means we're going to have to rely on Ndombele or Harry Winks. And Harry Winks hasn't really been great in the Premier League over the last couple of years. And Ndombele, who knows what Ndombele is going to show up, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but they have to look. It's on them. It's on these players. I think hopefully we can see it. I'm just hoping we can see a different Harry Winks. Just like he's got a different Dele Alli. Hopefully we can get a different Harry Winks as well. There's no reason why not. If he can get a shift out, because Winks doesn't have to be as good as he was. I don't think Dele is as good as he used to be, even now in his new role. He's still not the Dele who was, so supremely talented and getting goals and assists every game. It was a different kind of Dele, and Winks doesn't have to be the same Winks who was, playing so well against Real Madrid and stuff like that.
Instead of sideways and backwards passes, he can pass it forward.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to be that Winks that played against Madrid. He just has to be a player who's not a liability. He just has to be a player who's exactly who when there's pressure on him, he doesn't get dribbled past. He makes the tackle. He sets us up on counter-attacks. So I just need to do the simple things right. And I'm confident Nuno can get that Winks again. I'm confident. And I'm sure that, look, there's been talks over the summer that Nuno wants to give Winks another chance. And Winks wants to stay and fight for his place. And now it's time to show it. Now action speaks now louder than words. And I believe that Winks, if he's paired with Højbjerg and Dele in that centre, he takes Skip's role. I don't think he's as good as Skip defensively, in all honesty, but I'm sure that he can put in a performance that would be good enough for us to get a result out on Palace.
All right, Michael Hellman with the super chat, 15 shekels. He's saying, considering the recent injuries, would that change your approach to the Conference League and how we allocate playing time for our top players?
Yep.
I mean, it has to be assessed. It has to be assessed. The injuries have to be assessed. But obviously, if they're kind of longer term injuries or for a considerable amount of time, you have to look at it. Of course, you do. Yeah,
of course. And when there's it's a shame because, for example, not a shame, but when you got someone like Brian Hill, who would have seen his main game time in the Conference League, but now you got to rest him in the Conference League because he's a Premier League player. So who do you play? It's a difficult one. I've got a feeling it's going to negatively affect how we. I've got a feeling it's going to negatively affect how we approach the Conference League, in a way that we're going to have to. I think it's going to go more the way of overusing players than it's going to go with going completely with youth and going completely strong.
It's a much shorter competition if we do win the group than the Europa League.
It's only one round shorter, yeah.
I mean, the Europa League went from
last 32,
group stages.
Last 32 to last 16.
But this, if we win, it goes straight to the last
16.
8.
Last 16.
You sure?
Yeah.
I thought it goes straight into the quarters.
Pretty sure it's straight into the last 16. I might be wrong. I looked it up. From what I remember when I looked it up, if you finish second, you go into a playoff knockout round when you finish second, and then you go into the last 16. And then the teams who finish top automatically go into a last 16. I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. I might be wrong though.
I thought it was the last 8, but I could be wrong. If anyone in the comments knows the kind of Conference League, it's someone says last 16.
Yeah.
So you could be right. You could be right, but I thought I read
16.
somewhere the other night that it goes straight into the last 8. But anyway.
But look, in terms of depth and stuff, the only positive I would say is at least we.
You're right. It's last 16
for players coming into the squad. Obviously, it's not Man City level, but it could be a lot worse, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a lot worse to have to have Sanchez and Romero out and still have Joe Rodon to come in. It's not awful. To have Bergwijn and Son out and still have Brian Hill to come in.
Well, we don't know. Terrible. Brian Hill's an unknown quantity.
Yeah, but he's an unknown quantity. But he's better than not having any. Maybe better than having to put someone else on the left hand side. Exactly. Oh, well, I'm hoping. So I don't know. Our depth is not the best, but I think it could possibly. It's something. I think Nuno's got stuff to work with. I really do.
I think comparing to the other clubs where we want to be, it's weak. I mean, I know Liverpool probably has maybe even less depth than us, but all the other teams that are kind of fighting for that top 4 spot have quite nice depth to their squad.
Yeah, that's the reality. But I don't think Nuno's got duds to work with, is my point. I really don't. I think he's got something to work with, and hopefully if he can get a different tune out of some of the players who were maybe underperforming last season, then maybe our depth can look a bit better than people think it is. I'm hoping.
We got a super chat here from Anyup Narayan. Says, Papa Mata Sarr looks like Yaya Toure-esque player and takes direct free kicks as well. We should have kept him. I mean, if we would have held that card and tried to keep him, he probably would have ended up going to someone like a Chelsea or someone like that, the clubs that were after him. I believe Mets only did the deal with us because we were the only club willing to loan him back for the year.
Exactly. So I think they got us the opportunity to get him. So it's of course it would be nice to have kept him, but he's still 18, and it'll be good for him to get another year under his belt at Mets, starting week in week out, and he'll come back a better player anyway. So we just got to be patient. There's some quotes from Ollie Skip, not in regards to his injury, but I think he's been, I don't know if he's talking to Alistair Gold or something. Alistair Gold released an article. Ollie Skip on how it feels to be starting in the starting lineup for Tottenham. He said, it's hard to put into words really. As a Spurs fan, I've been to the games, watched players in my position, tried to learn from them. To be out there wearing the shirt means a lot to my family and to me. What else? Oh, so here he is. He's been talking. So it's this whole interview with Ollie Skip here. Let's see anything else, with any snippets we can see. Or Lee Carsley talking about Ollie Skip after those quotes we spoke about before. He also added the intensity he plays at 100% for 90 minutes. He was excellent again tonight, and he's going to be an important player for us. That's what Lee Carsley said on Skip. And then Skip's not letting his feet leave the ground and thinks Nuno's training sessions with top players around him will help continue to improve. He says, I'm not getting carried away. I feel there is a lot of improvement that needs to come and will come in training in this environment every day. I can't speak highly enough of the year I had at Norwich, how much they improved me as a player and a person on and off the pitch. I'm really grateful for that year, and I feel I've come back a better player for that experience. Jose Mourinho once told Football London that the young midfielder will eventually be Tottenham captain. And then he said it's hard to put into words. Then that's what I just read about the Spurs face. I remember walking out the tunnel against Man City. That was one of the best atmospheres I've ever experienced. I remember thinking, wow, this is what it means to everyone, and this is what it means to me as well. Growing up, you think of all those hours spent on the training ground trying to achieve that dream, that when you're young you think it's never going to happen, but I've managed to achieve that dream, so it means a lot. I've spoken to Jaffet about it as well. We've played together a lot over the years, since the age of 10, 11, and seeing him play against Man City was amazing. And that's that from Ollie Skip. And that's what I mean by having someone like... Oh, it's back. We're back. Are we back live?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Okay, fine. Sorry about that, guys. We're back. As I was saying about Ollie Skip, that's what's... Oh, we crashed again.
No, we're still live.
Sorry, yep. So that's what I was saying about Ollie Skip. That's what it means to him. You can see how much it means to him, pulling on that shirt. And that's the difference between... The main difference necessarily between the squad we have last season and this season. It's just the hunger in the squad and the willingness to go the extra mile, I believe, is going to be different to last season. And that's why I'm more excited about this season compared to maybe, obviously, I was excited last season before because of all the transfers and whatnot, but I think this season now, it makes more sense.
New sense of optimism.
Yeah, I think so. Because I think we're hungrier now. and I think we're fresher, and we've done a good job in the summer refreshing the squad. Not fully, but what we have done is decent, and hopefully we can make what we don't have in quality, we can make up in just pure work rate.
So
and that's what I'm hoping.
Having said all that, what you just said, do you think we can challenge for the top 4 this year then?
If things go our way, yeah, I think we can. If things go our way, what I mean by that is we need one of Son or Kane pretty much fit every game. If we go any extended period without them in the team, without both of them in the team, it's going to be a big struggle. It's going to be a big struggle.
We can last without one of them, right? It's just if both of them are.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So, and that's what I'm worried about, because they've had previously they've had injuries before. Son is obviously injured right now. Kane could always get an ankle injury and then would be screwed.
Chocolate ankles.
Exactly, chocolate ankles. But if they are, especially forget the Conference League, if they're fit for Premier League games, or I think any game. We saw how we played against Man City without Harry Kane, and I think any game we've got a chance of getting a result if they're in the team, especially how aggressively we're defending now, and how little we seem to be giving away. Obviously, it's only the start of the season, so we have to be consistently doing that. But I think how robust, aggressive, and hungry we look, if we can have that endeavour and still have the quality of Kane and Son up front, then I think we have a chance. But it's a big ask. It is still a big ask.
All right.
And it also, even having said all that, I still don't think we're favourites for top 4. We just have a chance.
Of course, we're not.
I'm just saying, even if all that luck goes our way, we're still it just puts us in touching distance of having a chance, basically. So that's why we're still massive underdogs for it.
You're relying on one of the top 4 as well to have an off season as well.
Pretty much, or not even that. You're relying on us to have a better season. Yeah, exactly. So. So even that's why it's so unlikely we're going to get top 4. But there is a slight chance if we can keep up the form and keep Kane and Son fit, we have a chance.
All right, we're going to start taking calls now. We've got Tommy in the background, which we'll bring on in a second. But if you want to come on and have your say about anything Tottenham related, the link is in the community section right now. So come on, click that link and we'll have a chat about anything Tottenham related of your choice, or even not Tottenham related, whatever you want to talk about. We're here to take your calls. So
you want to start talking about politics, do you?
Maybe not politics, but let's bring Tommy Talks Ball on.
Tommy!
Yes, Tommy, how you doing, mate?
It's good. I'm not happy with the depth situation, but I tell you what, it's an absolute honour to be on your show for the first time. I watch you guys a lot. I watch you guys a hell of a lot. So an absolute honour to have you on.
What's this noise in the background?
Is that come for you? No, is that someone else? Is someone else in the back end?
No. I think someone Sim or something like that.
What? I hear someone else talking.
Yeah, it's Sim. This is the first time I've used Rendezvous. There's someone in the back, Sim or something. It says Sim.
I'm here, mate.
Oh, there is someone in the back.
There's someone else in the back end?
Yeah. There's a couple of guys there. It's weird.
Tommy says there's a couple of guys. Just mute him if you can.
Yeah, I've muted him now. As I said, it's the first time I use Rendezvous. It's the first
That's
time
all right.
No, it's not. You're not doing anything wrong. It's on our end, I think. It's just people waiting to come on and talk. But Tommy, sorry, what were you saying? We got distracted by the noise in the background.
I was just saying, it's an absolute honour to be on. Absolute honour to be on. So thanks for having me. The whole depth situation has shown itself. It's shown itself from the outright within the first week of the window. With the first week of the window closing, I should say. And I don't know where we're going to go. I really, really don't know where we go. I heard Ben say the squad's thin. The squad's thin. It is thin. I mean, it's thinner than my. I mean, I haven't got any hair. I mean, it's thinner than my hair. My hair follicles. So it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So where do we go? So where do we go now? No Lo Celso. So we're pretty much now we pick up an injury through Skip or any of the centre midfielders we've played so far in the Premier League. It literally is Winks or Tanguy. And Tanguy, we haven't seen Tanguy. We haven't seen Tanguy since the back end of last season. Or since the back end of last season.
Since the week before the final.
All through pre-season, all 5 games, and the first 5 competitive games. You haven't seen Ndombele. So how does he get in? I'm not sure how he can come in. There's no way. So it's down to Winks. And we've seen what Winks is over the last 6 months or so. So that's not a top 4 challenging team. with Winks in centre midfield replacing Skip. For me, it's just not a Champions League. It's not a Champions League chasing team. But we'll see. We'll see.
But you've seen how, have you not seen maybe with Nuno now at the helm, he's kind of brought a different kind of aggression to this team. And you've seen what he's done to someone like Dele Alli, who's brought a new side to his game where we didn't think he was capable of doing that. And we've heard over the summer of how he wants to give Winks another chance and how Winks is ready to fight for his place. So maybe with Winks coming in, it's a chance for him to stake a claim again for his starting spot.
Absolutely. I'm one of Winks' biggest supporters last season. I really am. But I think the boy's carrying too much baggage now. I think he's a good player. I think he needs a move away to get his form back. I think there's so much pressure on him to perform. You can just see it weighing him down every time he plays. And he's having to. We saw it at the back end of last season again. We saw him trying to play in more attacking positions. We saw it against Villa. We saw it against a couple of the late games. He doesn't work in that role. He directs tempo. He dictates tempo. It didn't work under Jose because we didn't have possession. So his role was pretty much pointless. It's like having a goalkeeper without any arms. If you direct tempo and you only get 30% possession, then it is pointless. So I think there's too much baggage on a guy. Skip's a younger, better version and a guy with no baggage. Winks coming in is a big problem. And same with Ndombele. I mean, the depth is just shocking. And I've had enough of people keep saying, oh, Son's the backup striker. So he's the best left winger in the Prem. He's the best left winger in the Prem.
Exactly.
And he's the best one of the best left wingers in the world. So how can we use him as backup? Unless you can clone him, how can you use him as backup?
It's true.
But but we've got we have I guess the thinking is if Kane was ever to get injured, you move Son up front, and then you've got Bergwijn or Gil to come in on the left-hand side. And obviously Bergwijn looks like he's picked up an injury as well. With Brian Gil potentially coming in, are you maybe excited, or do you think maybe he could make an impact in the first team if he comes in?
Absolutely. Look, it looks like he's got a lot of fight. And he's got the talent there as well. He's got the pace, dribbling skills. But to be fair, the majority of people, we've only seen him on YouTube, and that was for Eibar last season where he scored 4 goals. And that's one of my biggest problems. We've got so much potential coming through the under-23s at Spurs, and that's what we decide to invest in this season, potential. We needed first-team players, and we needed a backup striker. So it just didn't make sense, this being the season that we invest in potential when it's there. It's there in the under-23s. Maybe not necessarily at left wing, but we've got Sessegnon there. We've got Sessegnon still sitting there. Bergwijn, spent £20 million on Sessegnon. If he's in the squad, he needs to be playing.
He's injured as well.
Yeah, he's injured as well. The lack of depth is absolutely ridiculous, and it's shown itself within the first week of the window closing. And I tell you what, the Christmas period is where the wheels fell off last season. We were top at the start of December. It's where the wheels fell off last season. When you're playing 3 games a week for a fortnight, well, you're in big trouble. You could, if you lose 4 games, you're out of the top 4. It's as simple as that. You're going to struggle to get into the top 6. That is going to be the definitive period, and we're nowhere near that right now, and we're getting injuries. So, Tommy,
what about this? Like under Pochettino, when we were at prime Pochettino, when our fitness was at its max, the December period was always the period where we would strive. We would go on win after win after win in the December period. Under Jose Mourinho, when our fitness was not good, obviously we fell off in that period where we had game after game after game. Now our fitness is getting better under Nuno. Do you not suspect that maybe in December we'll have a good period again when the games come, if we're fitter than all the other teams?
But this is okay. I agree to a certain extent. Definitely, I agree to a certain extent. But also at the same time, there's someone else in the background there. But at the same time, with the fitness, when you start using the same players, the fitness will be gone because they'll be burnt out. So it's all gravy at the start of the season. But this fitness, the fitness will not last. They will be burnt out, and we won't see the same 110%. We won't see the 11k that Dele Alli's putting in. It's just there's no. can't carry on for so much longer. One game a week.
I mean, but Tommy, under Pochettino, we were pretty much playing the same team week in, week out, Champions League, Premier League, cup games, whatever it may be. And sometimes we burnt out towards the very end of the season, but it was never like around December, January, February. We were always one of the best teams over those periods.
That's true, but I still feel like we had more depth then. I still feel like we had 20-30% more depth. Now it's bottom of the barrel. It really is bottom of the barrel. We're bringing in players that are completely out of form, out of touch. I mean, even Dele Alli. I was at the Watford game, and the attacking side of his game is just not there. Reggie was making run after run after run on the left wing back. He's basically left wing back with how attacking he is. Even if he's only playing 4 at the back. And time again, he got through that Watford right back Cathcart. And he just wasn't found. We're lacking the creative midfielder to find him. And it's things like that will get found out. And then after Ali, if Ali gets injured, I mean, it's Winks or Ndombele. And we're talking about when Skip's injured as well. It's just, I don't think we've lacked this much depth. I don't think we've ever lacked this much depth.
If Skip is out for a significant period of time, it doesn't look like he is, but if he is, would you rather move Højbjerg into maybe the deeper role and put Ndombele in, or would you just do a straight swap Winks for Skip?
I think you have to put Winks in for Skip because their roles are very similar. When Winks was at his best, but I heard you say, Sim, that his defensive qualities are not quite there. Winks compared to Skip, and I think that's absolutely true. Ndombele next to Højbjerg is when things started going south for us at the start of the new year. Sissoko's legs had gone. We put Ndombele, we took him out of number 10 and we put him there and it just didn't work. It just didn't work next to Højbjerg. So yeah, it'd have to be Winks for me. Very, very similar player when they're both on form. When Winks was back in the day, when he was on form, he was fantastic under Pochettino. But as I said, I think there's too much baggage with him. But we have no choice.
Do you not think it could be a bit different this year? I mean, with the energy that Dele Alli's bringing to the midfield, with Højbjerg in there too, to have an Ndombele in there in a kind of midfield 3 instead of having a 4-2-3-1, where last season when Ndombele and Højbjerg were in the middle, I mean, the fitness wasn't right there, and it was like we had nothing in the middle there when Højbjerg and Ndombele were in the middle. But if we have a Dele Alli kind of coming in his like physical role, which he's been playing in this season, do you not think it could work?
Oh no, that's a very good point, because we haven't seen a flat 3 yet. You haven't seen a flat 3, and that could be key. I mean, it changed Liverpool. Man City had to do it last season with that flat 3. It's certainly there are more variables. There are more variables when that happens. So it will be interesting to see. And look, Ndombele, I heard someone say this for the first time a couple of weeks back. He is a magician, and that sums him up perfectly. He is an absolute magician. If he can turn it on, then who knows? And I just want to ask a question to you.
He's great. No, he's a great magician at Ndombele. He's good at disappearing.
Yeah,
Harry Houdini. Go on.
Yeah, no. Apparently he gave birth to this child, and he's still. I don't know what he's doing with this kid, but yeah, apparently he gave birth to it, and that's why he's been out for 3 months. Yeah. So yeah, that pretty much sums up Ndombele. But I just wanted to ask you two chaps about obviously Aurier going and Sissoko going. Do you feel like, they're his mates, so-called mates? Do you feel like that could be good for him to sort of go off, not have that freedom where he doesn't have to rely on his mates to stand up on his own 2 feet? Because it's very divisive, this point. I just wanted to see what you two chaps think about it.
I hate this whole thing, like, oh, he's only got 2 mates within the squad, and the 2 French players, Aurier and Sissoko. I mean, you see pictures and videos of him laughing and joking with many players in training, Heung-min Son, Lucas Moura, this guy, that guy. I mean, I hate this whole narrative where he's only got 2 friends in the squad because they're the only other 2 French speakers in the squad. I mean, Hugo Lloris is in there as well as a French speaker. I mean, I just don't think it's even a thing. I think it's just basically bullshit made up by the media that he's only got 2 friends in the squad, and I don't think it's neither here nor there if they're going to be here or not. I really don't. And I think that for someone that's getting 200 grand a bloody week to play for Tottenham Hotspur, our most expensive signing ever, he should play with no mates if it needs be. Be a bloody professional.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's clear those were his two closest friends. I think that's pretty obvious. But I think I think them leaving could be a positive thing. I think because maybe he. I don't know. Yeah, as you say, maybe he relies on them too much, or maybe maybe they're a bad influence on him. I don't know. I don't know what kind of influence they are on him, but something in that dynamic needs to change. And with them two out the door, it's going to force him into hopefully a bit of change. So.
They were a good influence on him on the Amazon documentary, wasn't it? Sissoko got him back on side, apparently, in the Amazon documentary and got him back in the team. But look, we'll have to see how it plays out. But I just think that you should not have to rely on people within the squad, especially if you're like the stature he is in the squad, the top earner at the club, or one of the top earners at the club. You know what I mean? It's an absolute disgrace for me, his situation. It really is.
Yeah, I agree completely. And we seem to have too many of those players, or reported to have so many of those players.
Yeah.
So many of those players. Dele Alli, Dele Alli too. He sort of changed it this season, but then he did have a little bit of a bounce under Jose as well. When Jose first took over, he had 3 or 4 games where he looked good, and then he sort of fell off the cliff in terms of form again. And Sanchez, I just don't get with Sanchez. He needs a leader next to him. He's been there 5-6 years now. It's time for the players to stand up on their own 2 feet. And Tanguy is one of those guys. And it could, if these are one of his 2 best friends or whatever, and they are holding him back to a certain degree, I think this can only serve us in a better way. I don't think it's gonna make Ndombele worse. But yeah, as you say, I don't think it shouldn't make a great deal of difference when he's sitting there on 200 grand a week. It's insanity.
It is insanity, and I think that probably he got those wages a bit too early in his Tottenham career, and he needed to kind of earn it. That's for sure. But we got a super chat here for you from Bob Spur TV, and he says, "Hope
Bobby.
the pets." He says, "Hope the pets in Tommy's beard are well. Top lad."
It's got its own ecosystem now. So yeah, I'll have to give it a trim later. But piss off, Bob. Is it?
Yeah, that's the one.
Can I say that?
Of course you can.
Right,
only to Bob, though. Only to Bob.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to mention, Tommy?
No, that's it. That's absolutely it. Look, as I said, it's been a pleasure being on for the first time. I watch you guys a lot. So yeah, thank you for having me. Brilliant.
No, thank you for coming on. Do come on. Do come on again very soon. It was a great call. Really was.
Sweet, man. Cheers. Take it easy.
Up the Spurs. Come on. So that was Tommy. Brilliant call there. Let's move. Whoa, we got 2 Sims in the room. What's going on here? 2 Sims in the room. Sim, meet Sim.
Hi, Sim.
Hey, guys.
How you doing?
Fine, thanks, and you?
Yeah, good, thank you. What do you want to talk about today?
Can I first talk about yesterday's Conference League squad?
Yes.
I noticed that Pascozzi and Divine are not in either the A list and the B list. Could you please clarify that for me if you know what's happening between those 2 guys?
I believe Pascozzi has to be in the A list, so they decided not to include him. But I'm not sure about Divine. I don't know if he has to be included in one of the squads. I'm not sure 100% about Divine, to be honest. I'm hoping he is included because I want to see him get some time. But I'm not sure because he's so young. He's 17, I believe. So I don't know if he actually has to be in one of the squads. But he might have to be in the B squad. So I'm not really sure.
Bob Spur TV wants us to do a poll. Who's the better Sim?
Sim or Sim?
Did the rules change recently where if you're under a certain age you don't need to be registered?
That used to be the rule, but I don't know because they've got these 2 squads. I think you have to be in the B squad if you want to be available to play.
Right.
So I've got a feeling that maybe they've just left him out. I don't know. I'm not really sure what the thinking behind it is because I want to see him involved. I do think he's one of those players who has so much potential that I really wanted to see him get game time. I was very excited. No, Divine.
Oh,
Divine. Pascozzi, I'm not so whatever. I mean, clearly he's playing for Estonia and he's a young player. But Divine, I'm really excited about. I wanted to see some more from him.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
I'm excited for both of them, to be fair. I thought Pastozzi did show quite a bit in the earlier pre-season games, and obviously he has been called up to his national team as well. But Sim, not you, Sim, that Sim. What else did you want to talk about today?
Okay. Also, the injuries on Skip, Bergwijn, and Son. Are they serious injuries, or we haven't got any details yet?
We don't know as of yet. I mean, the Korean FA said about Son that it's just precautionary. With Skip as well, the under-21 manager was saying that he assuming that it wasn't.
No, he said he felt some stiffness in his groin.
Yeah,
so we'll have to wait and see.
And we haven't heard anything on Bergwijn yet. So
I just saw him holding ice on his ankle,
and he was he had an ice pack on his ankle for the last 10 minutes of the game yesterday.
But I think Nuno, what he can do is he can start Winks on Skip's place. Then you can play maybe a 4-2-3-1 when Dele Alli can become a number 10 behind Kane. And then we can maybe rest. If Son's injury is not serious, we can rest him and I play him against Crystal Palace and maybe play Brian Hill for his debut, give him a proper debut. I think we can play with those two players against Palace. It's not really that big of a game where we know that at least when you're going to play Chelsea, Skip and Son come back in.
Who would you like to see in the defence against Palace? Because obviously Sanchez can't play. And Romero can't play. So, I mean, who would your back four be going into this Palace game?
Okay, my back four at right back, definitely Jeffet Tankanka. Next, the centre backs, Dyer and Roden. Left back, Reguilon. Because I also thought about the back three, but I was like, the back three is going to be bad for us in the midfield, especially when Palace is playing a midfield 3 and we're going to be playing a midfield 2. That's why I thought, let me just stick on a back 4, because once we go into back 3, we might lose the midfield battle against Palace, and which could make us lose the game or draw the game. Because this is an easy 3-pointer where we can continue building our winning streak.
Is it too early for someone like Emerson to come straight in, or would you say maybe save him for the Conference League?
I'm thinking it's too early for Emerson to come in because I'm yet to see much about him yet, and I don't want to just throw him into the deep end against Palace because he's going to be facing Wilfried Zaha, who's a tricky player to defend with. I'd rather have a Jeffet Tankanga controlling all of that.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And like, even with that kind of lineup and that defence, are you confident that we'll go and take the 3 points at Selhurst Park?
Yes, I am confident, but I'm sure we're gonna concede because I'm not sure how. Because I'm worried about the partnership between Dyer and and Joe Roden. Because we were building a proper partnership with Dyer and Sanchez. As we know, they've got a few mistakes now and then, but they were building up because they've got 3 clean sheets out of 3 games. And if you could keep that together, I think we're gonna have a proper season.
Yeah, definitely.
And in the midfield, did you say you put Ndombele in? Or
no, Winks.
No,
with Winks.
Winks. I don't think Ndombele is ready yet. I'd rather start him in the Conference League on Thursday, just to maybe give him pretty much 45 minutes to come in, then maybe second half sub him out for, hopefully, if Divine can come in then, because for the Conference League, I'd like to see a 4-3-3 of maybe, let's say, okay, now because Winks is starting, let's say we could have Ndombele, White, and let's say Niall John in the midfield 3. Then making sure that White becomes like the defensive number 6 player. Then on the left-hand side, it's going to be Ndombele. On the right-hand side, it's going to be John in the midfield. But I don't think Nuno's going to play that. I'm sure he's going to have to start Hobie just to make sure that he's got that protection in the next to Ndombele and maybe a White.
Yes, I say you're struggling for players, aren't we? When it comes to depth. But Harry Winks, are you hopeful that under Nuno maybe he can recapture some of the form he had, before Mourinho maybe came in?
I liked what when he played the second leg against Pacos, he looked bright. He looked bright, and I'm hoping that if he's next to a Hobie, someone who can guide him, and then we just release Ali as a number 10, we're gonna be dangerous to Palace. We can score like 2 or 3 goals because we're gonna have 4 attacking players. Then Winks and Hobie can sit back. Then we can ask Reguilon to bomb up on the left hand side with Tankanka tucking in. I think the Winks and Hobie together is gonna be proper.
Wow, interesting. I hope you're right. I really do hope you're right, because the games are coming thick and fast, and if it doesn't go right and the injuries do mount up, then I do fear for us. But thank you so much for your call today. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from South Africa. Can I just say something before I leave?
Yeah, of course.
because you're saying that the games are coming thick and fast, and I'm thinking that don't forget next day is the World Cup, and now players are trying to get themselves into the World Cup squad. I'm sure they're gonna once any opportunity they're getting, they want to prove their squad selectors in the World Cup, right? That's what I'm saying. If Winks comes in, he knows that okay, I don't have space in the England squad, but I'm gonna try and force Gareth Southgate to look at me once in a while. That also could be a motivation for them to probably play for the club and give all for the club. It's another bit of a motivation.
Sim, you could have used that kind of reasoning for Winks last season as well to get into the Euro squad, but it just wasn't to be, was it?
Last season Winks was bad. I think for last season, I want to first blame Jose Mourinho for his football style. That's the first thing. He's too defensive. He was limiting players. And we know once you tell Winks to do what he needs to do, or you give him like a proper instruction, because I was reading an interview of, I think it was Skip, when he said that Nuno is direct on how he wants you to play. He tells you your responsibilities. With Mourinho, he just told you, okay, let's sit back and you're gonna attack with Son and Kane or the first players. Just make sure you're marking who you're marking. Don't go too far, don't go too back. You see, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to add, because I think Nuno's instructions are more, direct and are more understandable than Mourinho's
concise
instructions. Yes.
Okay.
All right, Sim, absolutely brilliant call. Do call in again. Was it your first time calling in today?
Yes, it's my first time. Yesterday I just joined as a member because I've been trying to call in, but I didn't know that you needed to be a member in order to call. That's why I was like, okay, let me become a member, because I've been following you started following you like past 2 months. Because I've been looking for a watch along, and I saw you guys. I'm like, okay, this is a dope what do you call it? A podcast? I don't know what to call it.
Yeah, watch along, YouTube channel, videos, whatever you want.
Thank you, man. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much for the support. And yeah, hopefully we'll get to speak to you very soon as well.
And a lot more. Looking forward to it. Nice one, Sim.
Up the Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on.
Wow, first time caller Sim.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Maybe your name's catching on now.
Apparently we're going to get more Sims calling again. Yeah. Sim City, someone said.
Sim City. Let's bring on Aravind.
Aravind,
how you doing, my friend?
Good.
What do you want to talk about today?
When everything goes well, then...
Exactly. I think I know what's coming, Aravind.
Especially for us, especially for Spurs. Son goes down, Bergwijn goes down, no Skip.
It's like when you're waiting so long for a bus to come. You're waiting 2 hours, 3 hours, no bus comes, and then suddenly two come at once.
Exactly. That's the only reason why I hate the international break, is because a lot of players get injured and then they just screws up a season.
Yeah, and then the whole thing in South America as well. Like, everything has conspired against us this international break, hasn't it?
And you need to be 2 Spurs players out of the 4.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Absolutely unbelievable.
What kind of lineup are you expecting to see on the weekend? So let's say if we expect all the players who are currently gone off injured to be out of the weekend, and not necessarily true, but let's say it is, what kind of lineup are you expecting to see on the weekend?
Look, the thing is, for me, after seeing how Jaffet has performed in this recent whiles, and I've seen a lot of reports that the reason why we didn't go for Tomiyasu is because after seeing Jaffet's performances, they're convinced that he can play that right back role and sometimes a centre back. So I have a good feeling that Emerson Royal is going to get his debut for Crystal Palace against Crystal Palace, and I have a feeling that for the game on Crystal Palace, I have a feeling that Jaffet is going to partner Eric Dyer. The only reason is because they have been playing games after games for past 3 weeks, and Rodon has not had a proper string of games yet, and his fitness may not be one of the reasons why we to bring him in now. And as the centre back position is very important. I know Jaffet is good at the right back position, but my strong feeling is that he's much better as a right-sided centre back than a right back, because I'm really not convinced in how he actually delivers the ball in the box, because in how Nuno plays, and there's a lot of fluidity much compared to last season where we're not really defensive, we have a lot of the ball. So I have if we have like a Royal and Reguilon going to bomb forward, because Crystal Palace is not a team that is going to play attacking football. So we need to have if we have most with the ball, we need to create the most chances, because we're missing out really crucial players for this game, and especially Bergwijn and Son, who's been very critical for us for the last 3 games. Even though Bergwijn hasn't scored a lot, but he was really critical in our game and all that stuff. So I have a really good feeling that Jaffet is going to partner Dyer with Emerson, going to get his start.
And with Joe Rodon coming into the Wales squad for tonight's game, I mean, if he does play, and seeing as he's been out injured for the last couple of weeks, is it even viable that he does play again this weekend?
I'm not. I don't. The only reason why I don't think so. I'm still worried that Nuno is still not convinced with Rodon as is to bring him in the centre back position as of now with the options which we have, and he wants him to like grow a bit and get into the team. But for Emerson Royal, it's a different thing. He's been playing in the La Liga. He knows he's played in the bigger leagues in the match for 1-2 years, and he's been bought by he's been got into the Barcelona team immediately. That shows what type of player he is. So he can trust more on Royal and with his qualities than Rodon as of now. I'm not saying that he's not a good player, but it's going to take him a bit of time to like. You can't bring him such a young player with less caps in the Premier League to give him a start immediately. So I have a feeling that Jaffet and Eric Dyer starts. And more into it is that I really want to talk about Nuno's style of how it's going, and that the reason, and especially for compared to what we had in Jose Mourinho and what we have in Nuno, is I have a feeling that some of the players is really like motivated to play for him, and they want to get the best out of the game because they like the style of the play. That's one of the reasons. And I really want to compare before Tuchel came into Chelsea for that team, there were a lot of Chelsea fans who were saying we want Rudiger out, we want Marcos Alonso out. So they were being treated as average, shit players who should not be in the club and needs to be gone out of the window. And now you can see how well Tuchel has got the best out of them, and they're playing like average to like world class players as of now. And this is something which fans miss out on, how if the manager's tactics really well and he can get on side of the player, we can get average players into world class players. And that's what as of now I know that Sanchez and Dyer is really vulnerable when it comes to small mistakes, and we may be punished further on the season. But we can see the changes within their confidence and how they're playing, even though it's not top quality. But we haven't conceded a goal, and I would say it's a much better start than what we had last season. We lost a game. We still used to concede a lot of goals. We weren't fluid at the back. Now we are much more stronger, and if you continue with this pace, then it gives beliefs to the fans that defensively whatever we bring in, it's going to be strong. And I want to see our team not to be dependent on Son and Kane. We need to score all around the ground, and that's how good we were. And when Poch was there, we weren't like, oh, if Son is injured, we can't score, or if Kane is injured. Yes, it was a case in the bigger games, but against a Crystal Palace, we shouldn't be struggling. We should have that depth and that collective issue to like bring the best out of the small teams.
And if Son and Bergwijn are both injured on Saturday, it could give Gil an opportunity to come in on the left-hand side. Are you excited by that prospect?
Yes, with whatever qualities he has, he's one player which we need to keep on rotating and bringing out of bringing into his team. And talking about Son is also like growing. He's like 29. Even though how good he is, he's not a person who can play week in and week out 2-3 games. And we need to bring these young players and groom them and get them used to into our game. And he's one of our prospects. So I have a really good feeling he's going to have a good game against Palace, because it's his type of game where he's going to have more of the ball and he can dribble past players and create a lot of goals.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. And you think if all the players are out, as we've said before, do you still think we're good enough to get a result with the depth for coming in on Saturday?
Look, if we can't get it, if with this with whatever how it's going to go in the Premier League is not, we're not going to have the same 11. Some of them is going to get injured. So if we can't get a result with rotating players against Crystal Palace, then to be sorry, we're going to have a tough season, because we need to keep on rotating, and we need to have that qualities where anyone comes off the bench and score goals, and we need to have that squad rotation of teams. So it's really important for us to get the result, and I'm confident that we can get a result with, even though like there are few players which are missing. Against Crystal Palace, it's a must win, and anything like a 2-1 win will be good for us.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about today, Aravind?
Nothing. Hopefully, these players aren't injured for a long time. That's the only hope I have. I don't want them to get injured for like 3 to 4 weeks. Then it's going to screw up a season. So hopefully they come back. They come back soon, and we have a good run of games. Fingers crossed.
We can cross our fingers. I mean, they need to get fit bloody soon, because we got Chelsea around the corner, and not just Chelsea, Arsenal as well.
And especially getting Lo Celso and Romero is really important. I don't know what the hell is going on with them. We need these two players is really important for our squad, and we need to get them fast and ready against. I heard news is they're in Croatia for 10 days, and they're sending some assistant for like. I'm not sure about the news, but yeah, hopefully they come back soon against Chelsea. There needs to be a lot of players which needs to be ready and running.
Exactly, 100% right. Aravind, always a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you for coming on, and we'll see you next time. Come on, you Spurs.
Nice one, Aravind. Yeah, let's hope the injuries aren't so bad going to the weekend. But you know, even if we do have injuries, we should have enough to get a result at Palace. That's what you got to hope for.
I'm worried that everyone's saying that. Like, even with all these injuries, this Palace game shouldn't be a problem. I mean, it's going to be a tough game. It shouldn't be a
problem. It'll be a tough. It's not that it shouldn't be a problem. It's just we should have enough to get a result.
Yeah, you're right. We should have enough.
It's interesting, you know. We're top of the league, having all these injuries. Arsenal, I don't believe they've had an injury, have they? It's because they haven't won a game. That's why.
They have had injuries.
Have they?
Yeah, Thomas Partey's been out the whole seasson.
No, during international break.
Oh, during international break.
They haven't got any haven't had any injuries.
That's because they got no one in on internationals.
No, there we go.
All right. Anyone else waiting, Jake?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining today. That is your Good Morning Tottenham. We've got a collab coming with a Crystal Palace fan channel coming today. So look out for that. Thank you, everyone, for joining in today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.